Welcome to Leaving a Legacy, Navigating Estate Planning with Rose Harper Law.
Hello and welcome to Leaving a Legacy, Navigating Estate Planning with Rose Harper Law. I'm your host, Sophia Morales, and owner Rose Harper is joining me today to discuss business and beyond, the critical need for estate planning. Welcome, Rose. I'm so happy to have you here with me.
Yeah, thank you so much. I'm happy to speak with you about estate planning for business owners.
Awesome. I'm looking forward to this. So tell me a little bit about why estate planning is so important for a business owner.
Absolutely. I think that as business owners, we can be so focused on our business, rightly so. That's our main source of income. We're trying to grow our business and we're putting all of our time and effort into that venture as we should. But if we don't consider the implications, the financial and the legal implications, what would happen to the business and therefore your family's, ability to pay for things if that's your main source of income, if God forbid something happened to you, you're really putting not only your business at risk, but your family at risk. And that's why estate planning for business owners specifically is so incredibly important. You want to have that protection in place for your business, but also for your family.
What are some of the gotchas that business owners maybe aren't considering when it comes to estate planning? Because I think as a typical person, we think, oh, well, there's the government has a plan if I don't. What's wrong with the government's plan?
Well, the thing is that if you pass away or if you can't take care of things yourself for some reason, right, you become incapacitated, then the government's plan takes over because you don't have a plan in place. So that means that your estate would have to go through the court system. And the court system can potentially be lengthy. It inevitably leads to conflict because you didn't document what you would want to happen. So people are going to bicker. They're gonna they're gonna fight over what they think you wanted, and that's what you wanna avoid, especially for business owners. Oftentimes, we'll see when a business has to go through the court system, it takes a lot of time. So you lose customers, you lose employees, the business slows down. Maybe the money isn't going towards marketing the way it should anymore because it's having to be moved to other things. And without that clear plan in place, you're putting your business at risk. And if that business is supposed to support your family, then where does that leave your family? So by putting a plan into place and not just saying, well, the state will decide what will happen, you can actually state what you want to happen. Because oftentimes business owners think, well, my manager knows what to do. They're
Yeah.
running the day to day anyway, right? So they'll just take over. Well, they don't have the legal authority to do that.
Oh, yeah, that's a detail. Yeah, it's hard to write checks when you're not on the account.
Exactly. So you need to have that plan into place. That way, it actually gives the legal authority to the people who you want to continue doing things to do so.
You mentioned one mistake, which is this thought that, well, the manager will just continue doing their
Yeah.
thing. What are some of the other common estate planning mistakes that you see business owners make?
Well, sometimes with business owners, there's like this, I guess, I don't know if it's a fear or what, but, or not just taking the time out to do it, but, a part of estate planning is becoming really financially organized. That's something that I help my clients do. So for every single estate planning client, I call it a financial wealth inventory. But that way, everyone knows where everything is and how to find it. But for
Yes.
business owners, if you have, your CPA over here and they don't talk to your bookkeeper over here or whatever the case may be because you're the person running the whole show and you know everything, but you need to have all of that documented so that whoever takes over can easily, seamlessly find what they need to find, get access to it, and make sure everything goes according to plan. Because, people don't realize, but there's a lot of unrecovered funds and assets that get lost because people didn't know where to find them. And especially
Mm.
now in the day and age of like digital accounts, you have only notifications, for your banking. So if people don't know where to find your accounts or what to do with them, I don't know how they would gain access. So that's
Exactly. All the cryptocurrency, who knows?
yes.
What role does a will or a trust play in business succession planning, and how should business owners approach these documents?
So, a basic will plan is really important for business owners, just like anybody else, truly, because with that, they'll be able to document who they want to get, certain items or certain assets, and also take care of their family, their kids, things like that. In addition to the will, you have powers of attorney, medical directives, and things like that. And that's really important to document for your family or whoever you want your agent to be. So, whether you're a business owner or just an everyday person, a will based plan is very important to give your family that roadmap of what they should do. And then, in addition to that, a trust, trust can get very complicated and intricate. You can create multiple trusts for different things. You could have your business interest going to a certain trust and then other assets like property or bank accounts going into different trusts. And there's a way to design the trust plan where you can add in additional protections for certain assets. So, especially if you have a business where maybe you're subject to certain risk of liability, it can be incredibly important to protect your assets so that, your inheritance actually is protected and goes to the people you want it to go to. So, that's something to consider with the trusts.
That's a big deal. That's a really big deal. I think most people have not considered the possibility of what that kind of action can do. I've heard of this concept of a buy-sell agreement. What is that, and how does that fit into estate planning for a business owner?
Yeah, so buy-sell agreements, are really separate from the wills and the trust. So that would be like an additional consideration, but they're really important for business owners to consider, especially if you have a partnership or even if you don't have a partnership, but you want to basically have that document in place because it'll provide clarity and stability for your business. So it kind of seamlessly allows the next person to take over or gives the person that you want to have the right to buy the business in that instance. There's a lot of different ways that you can structure a buy sell agreement, but essentially it provides clarity and stability, financial security. It determines, who will maintain control of the business. It minimizes the disruptions of the business so that you don't have to lose clients or employees, like I talked about, or revenue. And it really provides, an exit strategy also. So you could have a buy sell agreement in place that, if one of the partners or one of the business owners wants to exit the business, that agreement kind of outlines, what would need to happen and, who would get the right to purchase their ownership first or at what price and things like that. So the buy sell agreement is really important for business owners to consider.
So, how should business owners think about their business and their personal assets? Is this a different thought process when they're creating an estate plan?
So, when I do an estate plan for a business owner, I mean, really, you have to consider it all together. Unless you want to do your business succession planning separate and just focus on your basic estate plan for your family at first, because at least getting that into place is moving you in the right direction.
Right.
So, you can get your basic estate plan done for you and your family for how you want your personal assets handled. And then usually that lends itself to, wait a minute, maybe I need to do a business succession plan consultation and get that going. Ideally, you do it all at the same time. That way, you know that you have financial and legal security for your family and your business.
Yeah, and it seems like be less likely to end up with unaddressed holes if you do it holistically like that.
Exactly. Yeah. Ideally, they'll both work together and, provide that seamless transition.
And once you have that plan, can you just put it on a shelf and walk away, or do you need to look at this periodically?
So, definitely, once you have an estate plan in place and you have any type of major life change, like you move states, you get divorced, you have additional children, maybe you buy a business, sell a business, or even with property, those are times you definitely want to review your estate plan. Usually, it's like every 3 to 5 years, you want to take a look at it and just make sure, is this current? Is this accurate? Did the people that I chose to be my, agents or my trustees pass away? Do I need to select
Mm.
people? Because sometimes that happens as well. People choose their parents to do a lot of things for them, but if your parents pass away, then it's time to reevaluate. Or, you create your plan when your kids are 5 and now your kids are 35. Well, it's time to review it and update everything. Their names have probably changed, there's a lot that has changed over the years. So it's definitely important to update it. That way the plan is actually accurate and will work when you need it to work.
So, what steps or resources do you recommend for business owners who are just starting this process? Because just thinking about it is overwhelming to me.
No, it is a lot, but I think that's why it's important to get into contact with a professional. My law firm focuses on estate planning, and we help business owners every day. So, if you'd like more information about how to get started, we provide a pretty step-by-step process. We offer virtual consultations. We don't want you to take away a lot of time from your business. We try to make this as easy as possible for people so that we're doing all the work and you're getting the plan in place that you actually want that accomplishes your goals.
Yeah, there's a lot to think about there. What should someone expect when they reach out to your firm?
So usually when people contact us, they'll have like a free 15-minute call with one of our client service coordinators. That way they can, get some basic information from you and make sure that it's a good fit. So, sometimes people contact us and they live in a state where, well, I don't practice law there. So, we'll do our best to get you in contact with an attorney near you that can actually help you. But, just kind of that initial call, that way, we can understand, are you even looking for estate planning services? If you need a family attorney, we'll send you down the block. But, so we do that initial call. Then we schedule what we call a family wealth planning session, and that's a 45-minute session with an attorney. Before that, we have an intake form. That way we can know about you, your family, your assets. And that working session with the attorney is actually diving into, what are your goals? What is your family dynamic? Because that's unique for everybody. And what are your assets? And that way you get legal clarity. We tell you what would happen in a will-based plan, a trust-based plan, or with no plan in place. And that way you can figure out, what are your goals? And we can tell you how you can accomplish those goals. And then if you're ready to move forward, we provide flat rate packages. So if people want a will-based plan, a trust-based plan, we can get that done for you. And then we do a design planning session where we actually go into the details of what you want and who you want to be in each role and walk you through that process. And then after that is just drafting your signing day and getting you those original documents.
Excellent. And I love that you have a flat rate plan because I think many people are intimidated going into this process thinking, oh, well, there's going to be this mounting bill. And so flat rate that allows you to go, great.
Yeah, I think knowing upfront, this is the amount it's going to cost, and, we'll get it done for that amount and make sure you have a comprehensive plan that provides everything you need within that budget.
That's beautiful. Thank you so much for joining me today, Rose. This has been an amazing conversation.
Yeah, thank you so much.
And thank y'all for tuning in to Leaving a Legacy, Navigating Estate Planning with Rose Harper Law. To connect with Rose and her team, you can head to roseharperlaw.com. And we would love it if you would like, subscribe, and review on YouTube. It helps us with the algorithm so that this information gets out to more people who need it. Thank you so much.
Thanks for watching. Be sure to hit that like and subscribe button and leave us a review in the comments.